Hallie, I forgot to ask, but are you having a good time so far?
I nod.
That's great to hear. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you have any future suggestions for the club, like new activities for us to do, or things we can do better...
I'll keep that in mind. Even though I'm better off going with the flow and waiting until I'm more settled in. What? I'm sorry, but... That's... She didn't even get to finish her sentence. He just kind of responded before she could.
Anyway, do you want to share your poem with me? Don't worry about feeling embarrassed. We're all feeling like that today.
Including you?
Yeah, I would be lying if I said no.
That's okay. It's natural anyway.
Yep, but it's that barrier we'll need to get past soon. There might be a bit more pressure on your case, considering you're new here and all. But don't worry, we don't bite. In fact, I'll gladly help out fellow new writers and to make them feel more accustomed to the subject.
You really are something else, you know that?
I'm just doing what a leader should be doing.
And that's good. Anyway, I think we've been stalling enough time. Here. I hand over my poem to Monica, who graciously takes it without a word and reads it. After a few minutes, she hands it back to me.
Good job, Hallie. This is a great first attempt.
You don't have to be so nice.
Why shouldn't I? Although it's not professional, it's still really good. Using abstract concepts to create a common yet intriguing theme. You have a lot of potential in your future.
Thanks. I turn to walk away, but a tap on the shoulder prevents me from going too far.
Hang on. There are a few things I can help you out with, if you insist.
Go ahead.
Ahem. A common thing about new writers is that they tend to use melodrama and exaggerated language a lot. Although it's not a bad thing, it's definitely a common mistake people have when writing poetry. I admit, I may have done that when I first started. But that's fine. It's not something we can be blamed for. Also, am I correct to assume that there wasn't much editing done in this?
Yeah. I was tired. Can you blame me?
I wasn't going to. But I do have some good advice for you.
Let's hear it then.
Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. A way to handle this is to force yourself to get something down on the paper, and then tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. And that's Monica's writing tip of the day. Thanks for listening.
That's actually some very useful writing advice. Thank you. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
No problem. Now, do you want to read my poem? Don't worry, I'm not very good at this.
Come on, it can't be that bad. You gave some good advice, so you know your stuff. Let's read your poem then.
All right. Tides.
Let me grab our...
Change can only happen to an extent. Peering out my window, I see the beginning and the end. The sun points the sky a brilliant paints the sky a brilliant orange. And while I keep hoping, I sadly know the truth all too well. I am not the author of this story. Everything I've done, and everything I'm going to do, was and has been predetermined. I sit and watch as the tides threaten me with each forward movement. The sunset over the horizon falls lower and lower, until the orange finally fades, and the end has arrived, and I am once again pulled out to sea.
So I guess that's one point in the Monica is aware of this mod category. It's very freeform. Is that the right term? Can I not continue to make myself a complete fool in front of the club president?
Well, I guess you could say that's what I was aiming for. The freeform style has gotten a lot more popular these days. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful.
I guess you're right. Hey, if it's okay with you, what's the inspiration behind this one?
I guess you can say it's some kind of epiphany I've had for a while. It's been giving me some sort of influence on my poems.
Giving you some influence on your poems? An epiphany?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really feel comfortable enough to talk about it, though. Maybe once we're all better friends, I'll tell you guys about it.
That's fine. Take all of the time you need.
Thanks!
Phew. I guess that's everyone. I guess the others' discussions weren't important enough to show. After showing my poem and reading everyone else's work, I feel like my writing is definitely going to need some polishing. Even though everyone is acting nice, I can feel their judgmental gazes reading over my poem. It almost feels like I'll never catch up to their standards. But what can I say? I'm the only one here who doesn't have as much experience with writing. Hell, I didn't really know what I was going for when I wrote it. I just had a thought and started writing. Slumping onto a nearby chair, I scanned the room quietly. Sayori and Monica seemed to be exchanging poems at the far right corner of the room. I noticed Sayori's rather wide grin and eager eyes as she scans over Monica's poem intently. On the other side of the room, I observed Natsuki and Yuri gingerly exchange their work. As they read in tandem, I noticed each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyes furrow in frustration, while Yuri smiles sadly. Turning my attention away from them, I suddenly feel a lot more drained than I did earlier. Is it normal to feel this tired after sharing poems? Besides, I've gotten plenty of sleep over the past 2 days. How can I still feel tired after that? I would question it, but I start to feel sleep overcoming my eyelids. With no other option, I rest my arms on the desk and my head in my arms.
I'm not the one who started stuffing her bra as soon as Hallie started showing up.
Natsuki.
What? I instantly snapped wide awake at Natsuki's strident tone and Yuri's shocked, almost fearful voice. Strident? Quickly turning my attention to them, I also noticed that Sayori and Monica have stopped what they were doing.
I was saying something. Natsuki, that's a little...
This doesn't involve you! Well, I don't like fighting, guys!
Suddenly, both girls turned toward me.
Hallie, she's just trying to make me look bad.
As if! It's not my fault that you don't appreciate simple writing. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? Poetry shouldn't be rocket science, you know. The meaning should jump at the reader, not force them to find out themselves. Help me explain that to her.
Wait. There's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and emotions effectively. Of course, even if I tried explaining it to you, you wouldn't understand it. But Hallie understands, right?
Well...
How did I even get dragged into this? More importantly, why? I don't know much about writing, and I wasn't even paying attention to what they were mostly saying. How do they expect me to come to a decision like this? Besides, I've only been in the club for a day, and they're already pulling me into an argument that I have no business being in? I take a deep breath. Girls, I'd appreciate it if you kept me out of this argument. I've only been here for around a day. Cut me some slack. I just got done thinking this stuff.
That's seriously it? Wow, some help you are. Why'd you even join this club if you don't want to be a part of this?
Natsuki, don't push him. He already made up his mind. We should respect his wishes and solve this on our own.
Oh, now you're defending him? You dragged him here in the first place.
I only had to because you won't stop harassing others with your sickening attitude. You act like everything has to go your way. Do you even care if other people have a different opinion? Or do you think you rule the whole world?
You don't know me. And don't act like you don't act the same way. You act like everything revolves around your convoluted vomit on a piece of paper. Hey guys, can we stop fighting? I don't like it when the text advances on its own. I don't like it when my friends fight. And go away, Sayori. This doesn't and will never involve you.
Sayori yelps and rushes away from the argument in tears.
Now look at what you've done. This is exactly what I meant by sickening attitude. You really act as young as you look, Natsuki.
Me? Look who's talking, you wanna-be etchy bit. Enough!
Monika's voice booms across the clubroom, silencing Yuri and Natsuki immediately.
Yuri, Natsuki, I do not tolerate this kind of behavior in my club. Have you seen what you two did?
Monika points over to Sayori. The other two girls look down at the floor, regret shown in their eyes.
Sayori always acts in everyone's best interests, and yet this is how you two act. And do we really want to make Hallie uncomfortable after he just joined?
But...
Let me finish, Natsuki. You both know I don't appreciate behavior like this. Besides, you two are very talented writers. There's no reason we should be arguing over this. I want you two to apologize, now. Understood?
Neither of them want to admit defeat. Yuri slowly looks over to me. I give her a weak but reassuring smile.
All right.
Natsuki seems reluctant at first, but gives a hesitant nod.
Look, would everyone stop staring at me?
Monika looks away.
Anyway, I didn't mean to say any of that. I got so fed up and said some things. The thing about your boobs, I didn't mean it, okay? Except it was about your bra this time. That's all.
Natsuki looks away, avoiding eye contact from anyone. Meanwhile, Monika steps to the front of the room.
So, I think with that, we can end the club for today. I hope that tomorrow turns out better. I think it's best if we take a break from sharing poems for a little while.
Leaving the conversation at that, she walks over to console Sayori. Turning my head to their direction, Sayori nods at Monika, packs her things up, and leaves without another word. I guess we're not walking home today. Yuri, Natsuki, and I exchange brief glances before silently packing up our things. After they leave, Monika walks over to me.
Hey, sorry about earlier. I promise it won't happen again.
Nah, you're fine. We all act like that sometimes. Although, has that sort of thing happened before? Monika shakes her head solemnly.
That's really the first time they fought like that. I mean, they've had arguments before, but it never got this bad. It reminds me of my time back at the debate club. The arguments would get so heated to the point where they resorted to insulting each other's opinion. And seeing how Sayori was pushed away, even though she's really good at repelling conflict, I had to step in and de-escalate the conflict before it got too out of hand.
You know, Sayori was right.
About what?
You're a really great leader. You resolved that argument to the best of your ability.
Yeah. It doesn't help that I'm not very good with people.
Which you would think would have interfered with that.
That's actually a part of the reason I made Sayori vice president. She handles situations like these much, much better. However, sometimes I have to put my foot down and step up, you know? I can grow from that and learn as a person. We're only human after all. Sometimes we have to deal with things ourselves, even if we're not very confident about it.
I guess you're right. I'm not very good with people either, so I can't blame you.
Guess that makes us both then, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go home now. I'll see you tomorrow. I send her a quick wave and exit the room. Wasn't this the song I was just playing? The fatigue of today crashes onto me like a wave as I fall onto my bed. All I want to do is just sleep until the next day. I glance at my desk. So, no poem I have to write. I would think I'd feel relieved that nobody would be able to read my garbage writing, but I'm a bit disappointed at the end of the day. Sure, writing poems is time-consuming, but it wasn't as bad as I originally thought. And I shouldn't really let any of Monika's critique and advice go to waste. It'll hopefully give me a chance to grow closer to her. She seems pretty interesting and has a sense of confidence that allures me in a way. It makes me wonder if I'm truly worthy of her time. Basically nothing she is. In fact, I'm 90% sure she has more people that are worth her time than me. Damn it, I should really stop putting myself down so often. It'll get me nowhere. Exhausted, I slowly rise out of bed and trudge towards my desk. I guess one poem wouldn't hurt. I grab a nearby sheet of paper and a black pen. Ugh. And I'm back at square one with poetry. God damn it, I knew I shouldn't have tried this again. It's like the hardest part of this process isn't writing, it's finding inspiration or an idea in the first place. Considering how boring of a person I am, I don't really have much leverage to come up with something creative. Well, I guess I could just look up poem ideas on Google and go from there. As soon as I start booting up my computer, my phone ringtone goes off. Who could that be? Quickly pulling out my phone, I see an unknown number. Should I answer? It could just be a spam caller. Considering how many scam calls I've gotten this month, I'm extremely hesitant on answering. Besides, I don't know who else would get my number. Without another thought, I hang up and put my focus back onto my computer screen. Again! I pull out my phone to see the exact same caller ID. I consider hanging up once more, but I'm curious as to who's calling me twice in a row. Besides, If it's a scammer, I can hang up anyway. I answer the call. Who is it? I immediately hear a faint, almost melodic sound coming from the other end. What is that? I attempt to listen closely, but it's mostly muffled. Boo. Other than that, I have no idea who else could be the...
Boo!
Ah!
Did I scare you?
No, you didn't.
You're such a bad liar, Hallie.
So it wasn't a scam caller. I'm both relieved that it wasn't one, and embarrassed that I hung up twice on Monica. And how did she get your number? Sorry for hanging up earlier. I thought you were a scam caller.
It's fine. In fact, it's my fault for not asking you for your number earlier. By the time I remembered, you already left.
Yeah, maybe she has Sayori. Then how did you get it?
I texted Sayori for it.
Ah, there you go. Oh, that sounds reasonable. Hey, I hear something back there. What's that supposed to be?
Oh, shoot. I didn't realize it was that loud. That's actually a piano back there. I was supposed to practice today, but something happened.
You practice piano?
Just started recently. I've always wanted to get into it. Besides, doesn't it help to listen to piano after a long, stressful day?
I wouldn't know. I don't listen to music that much anyway.
You don't?
Not really. I mean, sometimes I do listen to it from time to time, but that's really about it.
Then what do you listen to?
Mostly Beethoven. Pretty generic choice, I know. But their work is pretty good. His work?
Really? I wouldn't say that. He's a very admired composer across the world. I'd say Beethoven is a good start into the world of classical music.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, so I guess she's saying it's better than pretty good. Fair enough. I've always wanted to get more into it anyway. What do you listen to?
Mostly classical, although I'm open to suggestions on rap music.
Rap? Why that specifically?
Rap can actually be a very neat form of literature in some ways. For one thing, it challenges you since you have to fit your lines into a rhythm. It also adds much more emphasis to the wordplay. When people can put all that together and still deliver a powerful message, it's really amazing.
Oh. I guess you aren't wrong about that. Hey, where are you? It sounds like you're somewhere else.
Oh, I'm at the hospital with my mom. She sometimes drags me along to her appointments, so I just sit at the lobby and wait for her.
I see. Can I ask a question?
Go ahead. I have enough time until she comes back.
What's the music playing back there?
It's actually one of my favorite pieces of all time. Clair de Lune by Claude Debussy.
Thanks. Flipping over the paper I was using for my poem, I scrawl Clair de Lune on it.
Did you know that this is actually a live performance right now?
Wait, for real?
Yep, have a listen.
Monica silences herself, allowing me to hear the quiet song. She isn't wrong. The pianist is really talented. He's got talent, no doubt. How much experience does he have?
Last I recall, around 10 to 15 years.
That's a long time. Seems like he really knows his stuff.
He certainly does.
A bit of incoherent talking is coming from the background, and I guess she knows this pianist personally?
Oh, okay. Sorry to cut this short, but I have to go.
Damn, would have liked to talk with you a bit more.
Same, but there is always another time, right?
Yeah, you're right. See you tomorrow.
You too.
I hang up the call and look back at my computer. Clair de Lune, huh? Let's see. I search up Clair de Lune on Google and click the first result. The music plays and I'm suddenly hit with a feeling I don't think I've experienced before in a long time. Well, if you haven't experienced it before, then it's a new experience. Huh. In fact, I feel even more inspired to write now. I look down at my rough draft of a poem and set it aside, tearing a new piece of paper from my notebook. If I have inspiration, I might as well write something good. I begin to press the pen deep into the paper. Another day passes and it's time for another day at the Literature Club. Another day. A few days go. I'll go, rather. I never would have thought I'd come back here, much less even enjoy my time. And yet, I find myself standing in front of the clubroom door. I've gotten a bit more comfortable with the members here. Even if yesterday's argument left me feeling a bit tense, I have a good feeling about today.